Hi, I'm Dylan Carter, 28, navigating the ins and outs of life. My life was going smoothly until I suddenly got an urge for a sense of morality. I could not foresee the impact it would have on my career, but in that moment, it felt like the right thing to do. It was a weekend, and my girlfriend Leah and I decided to escape the city for a romantic holiday at a newly opened luxurious villa near the beach. We sought refuge from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. As we strolled along the beach enjoying the serenity, Leah surprised me with drinks. Babe, I just saw your boss here. Here? Where? He was with the companion in the VIP section. I saw them heading that way. Maybe he's with his wife. His wife looked quite young. Young? I've seen his wife. She didn't look that young. No? Seriously? She looks the same age as me. Maybe you saw someone else. Maybe. The sun dipped down below the horizon, casting a warm glow on the beach. The gentle waves created a soothing soundtrack to our conversation. After spending a good time on the beach, Leah and I went for lunch at the villa. We found a cozy spot and sat down at our table to enjoy our meal. Babe, I saw him this way. I followed Leah's gaze, and what I saw was quite shocking. As we sat in the lunch area, the VIP section was beside us, offering an unobstructed view of both sides, as there were no doors. The VIP section, specially reserved for couples, was relatively empty, with only a few pairs scattered around. In the center, my eyes widened as I saw my boss, Bradley Hayes, not with his wife, but with his secretary, Natalie, having a romantic date. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I nudged Leah and urged her to look. Are you sure she's not his wife? They look pretty lovey-dovey. Men don't look lovey-dovey with their wives at that age. Leah playfully threw a hand towel at me and I dodged it. Just kidding, babe. She's his secretary, Natalie, for sure. Oh my god. Are they having an affair? Looks like it. Oh! A sudden realization hit me. What? Bradley is supposed to be at the workshop for the upcoming event with our new client. Leah connecting the dots. It means he lied about going there so he could be with his secretary. Oh, I still can't believe it. I was here to spend a good time with my girlfriend, but while sitting there and seeing this unfold in front of me, I was shocked. First of all, it is none of my business since it's their personal life, which has nothing to do with me. But I also felt bad for his wife. Dylan, are you okay? This is so messed up. Yeah, it is. Anyways, it is none of my business. It's their personal life. I wasn't expecting this from you. Look, I know how it sounds, but he's my boss. And I don't interfere in someone's personal life because it can affect my professional one. But I know, Leah. I know what he's doing is wrong. And I agree with you. But it has nothing to do with me. Leah tried to convince me to do something, but I refused, explaining to her why. She got angry and left me there, which totally spoiled my mood. Why was I going through this because of my cheater boss? It made me more annoyed. After a few minutes, I went to Leah. Leah? She was still sulking. What? Babe, we are here to spend a good time together, not to fight for other people's matters. So you won't do anything? About him? No. About us? Yes. I had a plan for tonight, but if you're still going to sulk, then we gotta think. She thought for a moment, then, what was your plan? Wow, sudden change of mind? Tell me. You sure you're not sulking anymore? Yes, now tell me. Good then. To completely ignore what we saw there, we went for a special dinner by the villa we were staying at that night, and enjoyed the great food with beautiful wirework and music. The next day, early in the morning, Leah and I got ready to leave for work from the villa. As we headed towards my car, I noticed Bradley standing nearby, and it seemed he had noticed us too. Bradley, fancy seeing you here. Hi, Carter, you're here. Yeah, me and my girlfriend were here for the weekend. Hi, Bradley. Dylan has told me a lot about you. Were you also here with your wife? The atmosphere turned slightly awkward. Oh, no. I was here for work nearby. Ah, I see. By the way, this place is really good for a romantic date. Far from our city. Nobody to disturb you. I shot Leah a pleading look, silently urging her not to disclose our discovery from yesterday. Good to know. Well, I'll see you at the office, Bradley. Of course. See you then. And with that, he went ahead to his car. I turned to Leah. We talked about this. I can't help it. He's a cheater and a liar. A week passed by, and one meeting completely changed my life. I was at my nearby convenience store while searching in an aisle for my favorite snack, when I overheard two women standing near an aisle and gossiping. As usual, I ignored them, but after hearing Hayes and their conversation, I couldn't stop myself from looking back at them, and I saw her, my boss's wife, Vanessa Hayes. She was talking like a prude wife about her husband's dedication to his provider skills, and what a good husband he is, making me want to roll my eyes so hard. But after hearing that, oh, last week, I couldn't go because Bradley had to go out of town. It would be great if you two could come to the next dinner. I had no intention of eavesdropping on their conversation, but they were talking in a public place. Last week, oh my god, poor Vanessa. She had no idea about her great husband. I felt pity for her. Seeing her smiling and proudly talking about her husband made me feel so guilty. My feet automatically stopped, and a heavy feeling settled on my chest. I don't know what happened after that. Call it a sudden change of heart, but I decided to tell her. I approached her. Excuse me. She gives me a genuine smile and asks, Yes. If I'm not wrong, you're Vanessa Hayes. Yes. How do you know me? I'm Dylan Carter. I work with your husband. We have met before at the fair. Oh yes, I remember. Mrs. Hayes, I want to tell you something. Of course, what is it? It's about your husband. Sure, go on. I think it's not the right place for such talk. We decided to discuss this matter at a nearby cafe. I could sense the discomfort in the air between us, but I tried to approach the conversation as politely as possible. As we settled in the corner of the cafe, I could see the curiosity and concern in Vanessa's eyes. She sipped her coffee, waiting for me to speak. I took a deep breath and began to share what I had witnessed. Mrs. Hayes, I have no intention to intrude on your personal life, but I feel like I should tell you this. Mr. Carter, now you are scaring me. Please tell me, what is it about? Mrs. Hayes, I think your husband has cheated on you. I saw him last week with some other woman, and I am so sorry to tell you this. I'm not so sure if it is an affair or a one-time thing, but Bradley wasn't out of town that day for sure. I have no proof since I didn't want to pry into his life, but when I overheard you talking about him, I felt like I should tell you. I'm so sorry. I said it in one go and didn't dare look Vanessa in the eye. She looked taken aback by what I said, and honestly, I didn't expect her to buy it without some proof. But her response caught me off guard. Mr. Carter, I appreciate your concern, but I trust my husband. He would never betray our marriage. I won't entertain baseless accusations. Mrs. Hayes, I get that this is hard to believe. I just thought you should know what I witnessed. As I spoke, I saw a familiar car standing outside the cafe. It looked like Bradley's, but it could have been Vanessa who drove it. Here she got defensive real quick, standing up. I don't know what your game is, but I won't let you spread lies about my husband. If you've got problems with him, deal with them privately. Keep me out of your drama. I stammered, trying to make her understand. Mrs. Hayes, I don't have any issues with him. I just wanted to tell you, but I think you misunderstood me. The right thing is minding your own business. I won't tolerate you tarnishing my husband's reputation with your unfounded claims. I tried to get a word in, but she left the cafe, leaving me dumbfounded. Her blind trust in her husband left me speechless. I did my job here and returned to my home. A few days later in the office, I saw Bradley coming in like a storm. He directly approached me while I was just starting to work, grabbed me by the collar, and yelled at me. He was about to throw a punch, but other employees intervened. "How dare you!" In front of the whole office, he was furious, and I had no idea what this was about. I stammered, trying to understand. What happened? "Bradley, you submissive wimp! You are fired!" My world crashed when Bradley's words echoed in the office. The silence that followed, along with the stares from my colleagues, made the humiliation worse. Trying to keep it together, I stepped back to free myself from Bradley's grip. What happened? Why am I fired? Bradley's face twisted with anger, and his eyes burned with resentment. "You meddled where you shouldn't have. Telling my wife those lies? You think I wouldn't find out?" I tried to explain, but Bradley cut me off with a dismissive wave. "I don't care. You crossed a line, Carter. I won't tolerate that from someone like you." The weight of the unjust decision settled on my shoulders. The office atmosphere turned tense. The sympathetic glances from my colleagues only intensified the embarrassment. "You can't just fire me like this." Bradley, unfazed, sneered at me. "Oh, I can. Do whatever you want now." As Bradley walked away, leaving me standing in the center of the office turmoil, the reality of unemployment hit me. I got the boot this morning, right in front of everyone. Bradley made it a real show, asserting his dominance or something. But honestly, I don't regret it. Sometimes standing up for what's right comes with a price, and today's price tag was my job. So, there I am, kinda stunned. Now, Bradley's got this whole network, and a squeaky clean reputation that I can't compete with. Yeah, maybe I dug my own grave, but I wanted to see it through. News travels fast in the office, especially with Bradley's influential connections. I got a call from HR, and I headed there fully aware that this was just a formality. I wouldn't get my job back now. Before I even reached HR, the breaking news had already rippled through the entire office. I went in, and the talk was just for formality. "Hi, Dylan. I'm sorry to tell you this, but unfortunately we had to let you go." "What's the reason for me getting fired?" "You see, it's due to a breach." "What breach? I did nothing. How can you just fire me?" "I can understand, but your direct boss fired you and created a huge scene in front of the office." "Me? When? This is unfair. I did nothing which made me get fired." "Dylan, we have to let you go, you see." Being back and forth with clauses, there was no way things would go in my favor without explaining my fault. They just fired me. Even though this formality will take time, I knew the end result. So, like any sane-minded person, I started hunting for another job because now I had to face the consequences of my actions, and there was someone who would face it for sure. It's been about a week since I was fired. I was at home in the evening, completely depressed. Then suddenly the doorbell rang. It was Leah. She had come in with beer in her hand. "Babe, look what I brought." "That's what I needed. Thanks." "Why don't you pick up your phone?" Actually, I showed her the phone that I broke out of frustration. She came in, we sat down, drank, and she tried to cheer me up. Leah felt sorry because she thought she made me change my mind, but it was my decision. "So, what are you going to do now?" "I'm looking for jobs. I'll find one soon, don't worry." "I shouldn't have pushed you. It's my fault. I should have thought about that too." It was my decision, and it was the right thing to do. Don't blame yourself. "I am so sorry, babe. I had no idea things would turn out like that." "Do you think I wouldn't know who I am messing with?" It was solely my decision. While we were talking, I told her about my job hunting process, scrolling through opportunities when, boom, an email from Vanessa hit my inbox. "Babe, isn't that..." "Tell me, why did she mail me?" "Maybe you should open it." I'm already annoyed by her. She could have confronted him, but she snitched on me. "Then why did she mail you?" "Good point." "Maybe she has something to say. Open it, come on." I figure, why not see what she's got to say? I open it up, and what she sends me catches me off guard. I began reading the email with Leah by my side. "Hello, Dylan. I am sincerely sorry for the misunderstanding that unintentionally led to you losing your job. I also want to express my gratitude for you telling me the truth. Upon reflection, I've come to realize that you were right. Leah starts reading aloud and becomes visibly excited. As I continue reading, I discover that Vanessa had hired a private investigator who provided details of her husband's affair, and she has decided to divorce him. I delve further into the email. I don't know how my husband found out about our meeting. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it for myself. He thinks that I blindly believe him and will never leave him. This is my way of saying sorry to you. These pictures will help you. You can use them to prove your point. Let's get this started. I remember that day when I met Vanessa. She drove another car, and I also saw Bradley's car there. We concluded that perhaps he saw me meeting with Vanessa, and when Vanessa didn't mention anything, he might have had some idea of what I told her. Based on his unfounded doubts and without any proof, he fired me solely on his perception. Sincerely, Vanessa. I read it again. Those were pictures of him with his secretary, Natalie. I was surprised by her bold move. She said, "Let's get this started." What does that mean? She's planning something. She's definitely made up her mind. What is she going to do? Maybe she will divorce him. Or maybe she'll expose him in front of the whole world. I hope she does that. After checking the shocking pics from Vanessa, I felt a glimmer of hope flicker inside of me. Dylan, this changes everything. I know, but what should I do now? It doesn't matter. You were wrongfully fired. And this email from Vanessa proves it. You have leverage now. But even with this evidence, the company will still choose Bradley over me. He's their guy, with all the connections, and I'm just me. But babe, you can do it. I have a feeling that Vanessa has a big plan. The more blindly she loves her husband, the more ruthless she'll be in seeking revenge. You sound awfully sure. Trust me. I've got a good feeling about this. You're right, Leah. I can't let him get away with this so easily. The next day, determined to see this through to the end, I made my way to the office of the head of HR. Yuri, the director's secretary, greeted me as I entered the office. Mr. Carter, you'll have to wait. Mr. Benny is in a meeting at the moment. How long will it take? Just 15 minutes. Alright, I'll wait here. Decided to grab a coffee while I waited. I headed to the nearest cafe. But as I sipped my drink, my phone buzzed with a notification. The atmosphere around me shifted as murmurs spread, indicating that something significant had occurred. Just as I was about to open the video, my colleague and friend Luke called me. Dylan, did you watch it? I was just about to, but you called. What's going on? You won't believe it, Dylan. Bradley was caught having an affair with his secretary, Natalie. Really? And his wife posted the affair video online. She's about to divorce him. Bradley's finished. Do you know what this means? What are you saying? Let me watch it. Dylan, it means you can get your job back. We're filing a petition for you. Bradley unfairly fired you, and it was against company policy. Are you serious? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because he didn't pick up your phone. I tried so many times. Luke, actually, I broke my phone out of frustration. I'm using my old one now, which is why I didn't receive any messages or calls, but thanks. Thanks won't be enough. We want a party after you get your job back. Me and the team are waiting for you. Then I owe you guys a party if I get my job back. I checked the video again. It was indeed shocking, and suddenly, everything fell into place. I understood exactly what Vanessa meant when she said, "Let's get this started." As the video ended, I felt a sense of clarity wash over me. Vanessa's mention of my termination in the video sparked outrage, and it seemed like management was finally feeling the pressure to take action against Bradley. His influence wouldn't work this time. Shortly after, I received another call, this time from the HR office. It seemed they were ready to address the situation. Mr. Carter, Mr. Brenny is waiting for you. Please come to the office. I'm on my way. As I made my way from the cafe to the office building, the buzz of conversation about the scandal filled the air. When I reached my office floor, I saw Bradley approaching. His furious demeanor was palpable, but he merely glared at me before entering the elevator. I took a deep breath and continued to the HR office. Banny welcomed me as I entered. "Welcome, Dylan. How are you doing?" "Not so good." "Understandable. But don't worry, we sorted things out for you. What happened was unfortunate, and we'll make up for it. You can take a vacation, and after that, you're welcome to join us again." "What about Bradley?" "We'll be taking appropriate measures regarding him." Banny senses my dissatisfaction with Bradley's fate, and I lock eyes with them, conveying my determination. Banny continued, attempting to reassure me. "So, what else can I do for you?" "We need you on our team." "You mean, now that you feel the pressure of the company's image in public, you're ready to take me back and want me to rejoin, right?" "Dylan, you know we had nothing personal here." "Okay, I'll rejoin the company, but I have a condition." "And what might that be?" "I want a public apology from Bradley, and I expect a raise in my current pay." "I think we can arrange that." After my vacation, I made it clear to Banny what I expected from Bradley. Returning to work, I found myself back in the same spot where Bradley had publicly humiliated and fired me. But this time, the atmosphere was different. All eyes were on Bradley as he stood before everyone, including those who had witnessed my unjust termination. Bradley cleared his throat, the weight of his words heavy in the air. "I'm sorry, Carter." I watched as his ego battled with his pride, but I waited patiently for him to continue. Banny nudged him, urging him to speak up. "For my behavior for unfairly firing you." It was a moment I'll never forget. Bradley had to swallow his pride, forced to acknowledge his wrongdoing in front of his peers. As for consequences, well, he was transferred to a different department, his personal issues following him like a shadow. Meanwhile, the fallout from the affair rippled through the office, with even Major taking action against Natalie Foster, despite her identity not being exposed in the video. Grateful for the opportunity to right a wrong, I sought out Vanessa to express my thanks. "Vanessa, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have my job back." "Dylan, I'm actually the one who should be thanking you. If you hadn't told me about Bradley's affair, I would have been living in the dark, betrayed by everyone around me. It's just, I couldn't stand by knowing what was happening. You deserve to know the truth. And you were the only one brave enough to tell me. You didn't have to, but you did. I couldn't let you go on like that. No one deserves to be kept in the dark, especially not by the people they trust. But honestly, I wouldn't have been able to do it without Leah's encouragement." "Leah? Huh? Well, thank you, Leah. Dylan mentioned how you supported him through this." "Of course, Dylan. You did the right thing, and I'm proud of you. And Vanessa, what you did was really brave too. Not many people would confront a situation like that head on." "Thank you, Leah. Your words mean a lot." "I owe you, Vanessa. Thank you again." "Don't mention it, Dylan. Just glad that things work out for you. And Leah, thanks for being there for Dylan." "Anytime, guys." We had a great time, and that's how I regained my dignity and job.